welcome to another episode of Peptalk on the Joe Maxwell Show. I am your host, Joe Maxwell. Today we'll be talking about finding your passion. How do you translate your passion into a successful business? I am joined by some special ladies, and I say the special because of the way they have turned their passion into a business. If you ask me what passion is, I'd say it's the ability to bridge an existing gap. That often triggers the passion in you. Let us find out if this is the true case. Hi guys. Hi. How are you?
Very good.
Thank you guys for joining. Hi Nana. Hi Lahana. It's like Nana, Lahana. It's like very rhythmic. How you guys doing? You're looking amazing today.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Is this one of your pieces?
Yes.
Right, then posh baby things. Amazing. I love that. I love the print. Is it specifically Ghanaian prints or
Yes,
is it?
it is.
Okay.
This is from Ghana.
From
Yes.
Ghana.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for joining.
Thank
Hi
you.
Lahana. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you
Right,
very
as
much.
you guys can see, I've got some lovely neck pieces. Yeah, all courtesy of Lahana. Yeah, amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. It's
Right.
always a
So
pleasure.
on the matter, on the note of talking about passion, it'd be good to understand, what are your thoughts? What do you think passion is? I'm just going to start with Lahana. What do you think passion is? Because we often sort of mix things up when it
Yeah.
comes to passion.
I think when you talk about passion, it's a very vague word. I mean, you can say my passion is fashion, but you can be passionate about so many things at the same time. I feel like for you to say something is your passion, it is something that you have an interest in and is productive. So you can be passionate about, I don't know, traveling. But I mean, if you're just going to be traveling by yourself, no one's really seeing what you're doing. I mean, it's a hobby. That's not a passion.
Yeah.
I feel like for it to be a passion, it's something that you enjoy doing and something you can do productively.
How about you, Nana? What are your thoughts around that?
I think passion is something that you love to do, something that comes natural to you. You don't struggle.
Is that really? Is that really it though?
That's how I feel.
Really?
I feel like when you're passionate about something,
Yeah.
you always want to do it. You have this desire within
Right.
to always just.
So there's a difference in the desire and comes natural to you. Passion doesn't necessarily have to come natural to you, is my understanding, right?
It should come natural to you.
Right. What are your thoughts around that area? Because
I think if you're passionate about something, then it should be a natural thing.
I mean, I kind of disagree.
Okay.
Like, for example, I'm at uni at the moment and I'm studying engineering, but part-time I make fashion accessories. I never really thought I'd be doing this at this time. It was just something that me and my friend were discussing one day, and then we just decided, you know what, we actually really enjoy this, and I feel like other people are going to enjoy it as well. So I wouldn't say it came natural to me, as in I from the beginning, I knew this was what I was going to do. But it's something I very much enjoy, but I don't think it came naturally to me.
So you've sort of discovered it along the way, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
it sort of feels like that to me as well. But anyway, we're just going to pack that. I think going into how you've been able to identify your passion would be good to know. So whilst you started recently, about less than a year ago, you started Posh Baby, the online boutique, and I think Lahana, you've been doing yours for about 3 years or so.
No, it's actually been less than a year.
Oh, less than a year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's sort of very new businesses. How did you? I mean, it's fair enough. I'm good to say that you're passionate about lifestyle, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you identify that you're passionate around sort of that area? And then I'd ask you that question first.
It all started, I think, from my daughters. You know, they would take pieces of fabrics and put that together, and then one day I just called them and I said, you know what, come, let me show you how to do it properly. And then I just started making matching outfits for us.
Right.
I'll make a bow tie for my husband. I'll do the little skirt.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then it just kicked from there.
Oh, so it was
really.
like a family uniform,
Yeah,
like
it was a
the husband
family
would have the
affair.
big.
That's it.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you sort of got your energy from, okay,
That's
you know
it.
what, this looks kind of
Yeah,
creative,
yeah,
and you know
yeah.
what, I can take this out and sort of.
That's it.
Okay, and in that moment, did you feel there was a gap in the market for for that, for what you're doing, for you to be able to tap into it.
Yes, I
Right.
felt like if you needed a good quality Ankara wear or African wear, you had to go through so much trouble to get it to fit you right, the right fabric. So I thought, you know what, hang on a minute. I want to tap into the market and do it right.
Right.
Give ladies something that they'll be proud,
Right.
you know, to be seen in.
So where your passion started from, just doing pieces for the family, your
Yeah.
husband included.
Yeah.
Are you doing something that extends to the men as well, or you've just kind of
that's in the
parked it for?
pipeline.
Right. Okay.
We're working on like bow tie and pocket square set for the men.
Right,
So,
okay.
yeah, that's
Okay.
coming. It's coming
Okay,
soon.
that'd be interesting. I just try to imagine myself and my husband.
Yeah,
you know, he's
well,
wearing a tie, a Farad tie, and then I'm wearing the. That'd be very nice.
You will love it, Ibi.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. Okay, let me know when you have that. You never know. Yeah, Lahana, how did you, Ahanna rather, sorry, how did you sort of find your passion? I know you talked briefly about it earlier. How did you sort of think, oh, this is I'm quite passionate about this. How did you identify
It's quite a
that?
funny story, actually. So basically, before we started this, I had literally every type of choker you could ever find. If you could think about a choker that you've seen on someone, I had it.
Yeah.
So I had so many, and I'd wear like a different one every day, and everyone was always asking me, like, is it everyday chokers? And then because I had so many and I wanted more, like I was just like, I have this already, I've seen this already. And then I was like to my friend, because she was going back to Nigeria, I asked her to make me one, like an Ankara one, like with my tailor, and bring it back for me. And then she was like, that's kind of cool, can I get one as well? And then we were like, you know what, this is actually quite cool, like let's just make it, because I like it, you like it. When we talked to our friends, they wanted them. So we were like, you know what, I think that we can actually make a business out of this.
So you have basically identified a gap in the market as well.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, there is a gap in the market. How about we sort of tap into that? So that's sort of how I sort of see passion. You know, and I was just hoping we'll agree to disagree, you know. So in terms of how you've been able to sort of keep up that passion, because sometimes you can be passionate about something right now, and the next minute, due to one reason or the other, you just say, I can't be bothered. Passion, you move on to something else.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to keep on top of your game in terms of, I've got to make sure this keeps going well in order to be successful in the business?
Well, I found it quite daunting initially, because I mean, it's one thing to think about it, and there's a completely different thing to make a business out of it. I mean, there's work behind the scenes that people don't see, and I feel like the main thing that kept me going really is just like family and friends, because when people see how passionate you are about something, when you're feeling discouraged or whatever, those are the people that will be like, you know what, I know you can do this, just keep moving. And they'll help you set your small goals so you can keep on track to make sure that this is actually making sense and you're actually moving forward in the way that you initially wanted to.
So yeah, that's a very valid point. I think you've probably just answered some of the questions I was thinking in my mind. So over to you, Nana. So what would you say are the key challenges in sort of pursuing your passion, sort of just keep driving it?
Staying focused, just like Lahana just said. Sometimes even at the initial stages, you ask yourself those questions, can you really do it? You know, other people have not been successful. What do you think? Why do you think you're going to be? And I share the same story. My friends and family have kept the whole thing going. Where I thought it was just like a play thing that made me really believe in myself. It's like, go for it. This is amazing. You know what you've done is, it doesn't match up to, but they just encourage you, push you. You can do this, you can do that. You know, I made bow ties for my husband that will fall off the next day.
Oh dear.
But he was still, you know, so happy, and no, it's good, it's fantastic. You know, if you buy something from the shop, you get similar experience, so then get discouraged, keep going. So yeah, my friends and family have really helped
you. Are there any sort of other challenges that you kind of find just keeping up?
Challenges, because it's a lot involved. You know, you have to invest in the fabrics, time, it's time consuming as well, and even your energy as well, because you need to dedicate several hours each day to get this thing running.
So I guess this sort of takes us to the next question, because obviously we're investing time, we're investing money, we're investing resources, everything literally goes into this passion, because I want this passion to be so successful. At what point, I know that you guys have only recently started, at what point do you then say to yourself, I've put in so much money, I've put in so much time, sleepless nights into this business, and it's not going anywhere, it's not being successful? At what point do you tell yourself that that's it, when I get to this point and I'm not getting what I need, then that's it?
I think it's about planning. You need to be aware. Before you start a business, you don't just put in a lump sum and think, okay, I'm going to make money at some point. You need to have plans, you need to have goals. If you haven't met your goal the first year, I mean, that's fine, you just started. Second year, okay, third year, you need to be you need to be hard on yourself in that way. You can't just keep giving yourself excuses.
Yes.
You need to make sure your business model works, and it's about actually studying how much money you're making, when are you making your money from, who are you making your money from. You need to pay attention to those things.
That's a key thing you said that, because I think when you start a business, you often put in so much money. You need to almost understand what's going out and what's coming in. And I think personally for me, like you said, milestone. You just got to have little milestones and sort of set a plan and goal for yourself. And I don't know for you guys, but some it depends on the project. Some you give yourself a long time plan, and some you kind of go, this one should really start making some money in 6 months. How have you kind of measured yourself in terms of making sure that you're sticking within your goal?
At the moment, I've said to myself, it's not really about the profit. It's about establishing that brand and that name. So I have got my objectives, my goals. Okay, I'm giving myself 2 years.
Okay.
If things do not go the way, then maybe I have to start looking at plan B or this or that. So yeah, I've given myself some time, because if you don't give yourself enough room to establish what you want to do, you might feel a bit disappointed, because you might feel, it's a year now, I should be, rolling in the cash now.
Yeah, I know. It can be a little, it can be it can be a little bit discouraging when you get to the point you're thinking, okay, this isn't working. But I think tenacity is so important. You've got to keep going, and I think you've got to believe in yourself as well. So no matter what you're passionate about, I know that we do need the friends and family to sort of help us, to sort of encourage us, but you also need to believe in your passion, that I believe in this, I want to drive this, I'm taking this somewhere. But of course you've got to think about the financial impacts as well. So just before we sort of round this up, I'd like to just give you guys an opportunity, given that you guys have turned your passion into a business, and I'd say successful business. Can you sort of tell our viewers, give our viewers 1 or 2 cues in terms of what they need to do to keep up that pace, in order to be able to keep up the pace of, I want to remain passionate about this particular thing, I've got to do 1, 2, 3. Over to you, Nana.
I would say, Joel said that earlier on, believing in yourself. You have to believe in what you're doing, and you have to stay focused. And don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself plenty of time to nurture and establish that brand. Yeah.
That's very good. Thank you very much. Over to you.
I would say that in the beginning, it might be extremely discouraging. I mean, you might not exactly be where you want to be right at the beginning. It might take you a bit longer than other people. Things might not necessarily happen the way you plan them to, but I think that everything in life happens for a reason. So you need to take every opportunity as a learning opportunity and just keep pushing yourself, believe in yourself, and you'll be successful.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. So guys, remember, the passion is part of your values and an important part of how you run your business successfully. On our next segment, we'll be talking about online dating, finding your other half via social media. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys, to the second segment of today's episode, where we will be talking about online dating, finding your other half via social media. According to a report by Stanford University in 2012, relationships that start online do just as well better than the ones that start in real life. Is this the real case? So online dating, yes or no? Nana?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
I agree.
Just because no. Yes or no?
No.
No, right. Online dating, no, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good mix, right? Yes and no. Right. Yeah. So why did you say no?
Well, looking back, I'm not that old, by the way. But looking back so many years ago, there was nothing like Facebook.
How many years are we talking about now?
Just maybe about 10 years ago.
No, I think even later than that, maybe 15 years, I'd say, yeah. Okay. Facebook probably started 10 years ago. Just let's get the stats right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Social media wasn't as advanced as it is today, so perhaps there wasn't all these different avenues to meet, potential wife or husband. But now you can sit from the comfort of your home
and then pick and go, I like this dude, fine guy, looking hot.
That's right. But I'm even looking back. Our parents, it wasn't an accepted form to go to your parents and say, I'm about to get married. How did you meet this person? Online? No, It was a no. But we've evolved. Things have changed now.
You're right. We're about to delve into that in a minute. And why would you say yes, Ahanna?
I mean, I feel like right now in the world, you can literally do everything online. You can shop online, you can get groceries online. So why wouldn't you be able to get a boyfriend online?
Right. Did you hear that? I can get groceries online. I can shop for my, literally shop my entire life online. There's a danger in that now. Am I going to use my credit card now to shop for a husband? So do you guys know anyone who's met online, or did you meet your other half online?
I personally haven't dated anyone online, but then I feel like I know a lot of people who've met people online. I know a lot of people who are in relationships right now that started online, and I mean, I don't think it's that much different to meeting people like in person. I think if you meet online and it's right, you people are like, you're meant for each other. I don't think it really matters how you met.
I guess that takes us to the next one. How do you know that it's right?
I guess it's the way you feel. I mean, you can meet someone. Don't you ever get that thing where you meet someone and the vibe is just, you're just not, the jokes aren't, you're not laughing at the jokes, and it's just not there. But then you meet other people and instantly you click. It's like, I've known you for like the last 3 years, as opposed to like people that you're just like,
yeah, you're not really sure about it. So do we think that it's a lazy way of meeting people? Because back in my days, well, I say my days, but you know, when I was dating, as Nana said, there wasn't any such thing as online dating. I think the closest thing we had then was probably high five.
Yes.
I think because Facebook was non-existent then, and I remember high five then. It was a kind of way where you sort of almost pick and choose kind of thing. You were very careful because we're not used to that kind of online dating. So now that things are evolving in that sort of way, do we think it's a lazy way versus back in the day where you'd had to meet somebody, your first date would literally have to be when you first met? I mean, do we think it's a lazy way, sort of going online and looking for love?
I put myself in the shoes of the younger generation, so to speak. I don't think it's a lazy way, but it's a more convenient way. Like Ahanna just said, you can do every transaction.
Shop everything online, baby.
Online. Why not shop for love online?
Shop for love.
There are boundaries and limitations to it.
Definitely. I think you just have to be clever about it. You can't just like see someone online and you're like, okay, this person complimented me and so now I'm in love and we're going to get married. I don't think sensible people wouldn't do that. I think you meet the person and you try and get to know them. Do you think you guys are compatible? Do you think the person is real, first of all, before you meet them? Do you think they are who they say they are, and then you go from there? I don't think. I think you have to be careful, definitely.
You really have to be.
There are people out there.
You definitely have to be. I guess
crazy.
That will take us smoothly into our next question, and I think this is where things get a little bit tricky with regards to social media and online dating. So to me, these are two different things, right? Social media is vast in terms of sort of the platforms where you can reach out to people, but there is a big difference in online dating websites versus social media. So what are your thoughts regarding that? So how would you say the difference, what would you say the differences are or differences?
I think that from my understanding, the online dating websites are specifically for meeting people. But, you know, people can always pretend to be who they're not. So how do you tell who you are really, if this is the right, you know, if I'm saying I'm Joe and I'm 26 and I live there and I love to swim and how do you know that everything I'm telling you?
So if for that, so what's the difference in that? So whether or not I'm meeting you on Tinder and my whole profile is there versus social media now. So we're still trying to sort of understand the difference in both. So there is a social media bit.
With dating sites, because you're specifically trying to meet someone, I mean, everyone tries. I mean, when you meet people, you don't literally go there and tell them the worst things about you. You try and put out your best. You put your best foot forward. And I feel like with dating websites, because you're specifically trying to do that, you're
trying to put your best self
like
out
you're not
there.
really being you. Right, but then with social media, you have your friends on your social media. Like, so I think if I meet you on like Facebook, for example, I can go on your profile. I can see, I don't know, with the people you go out with, what you do. Like, it's more. I think it's a better way to actually see the people for who they are rather than who they tell you they are. I mean, it's still online, and I mean, they can still be very different in person. But I think social media gives you a better picture of who they are.
Who the person really is.
I guess that's true. So obviously the likes of Instagram, the likes of Facebook versus Tinder. You know, that's an online dating tool. So I guess the next question is, so we have to, as much as we know that this online dating or dating website is good for us, right? So if I was looking for a husband, I can always go on Tinder, I can always go on Facebook and search for people. There are sort of disadvantages to this. There are impacts of meeting people online. Not to say that if I was to meet the person on the street, the same impacts won't apply. But I think specifically when you're meeting somebody online, the impacts or sort of, the disadvantages, or I'd say let's say the impacts are quite high. So what would you say that the impacts are meeting somebody online? I'm just going to start with you, Nana.
Okay.
No, start with you, Ahanna.
Okay. I think that meeting people online can be a bit tricky if you don't do it wisely. I think when you meet someone online, they can tell you, oh, I'm generous, I'm nice, I'm adventurous, I'm this, I'm that, and all sorts of things. And so you can kind of tell yourself that I know this person because this is what they've said to me. Rather than when you meet them in person, you actually get to witness these things for yourself, so you have a better idea of who they are. So I think further down the line, I think when you meet people in real life, I think it's easier to know how well you know them rather than online, because you can feel like, I mean, with celebrities, we feel like we know them. We see them, what they do every single day. But if we met them in person, we're not going to instantly be best friends. So I feel like when you have to keep those kind of things in mind, just because I've seen online that you like to go to theme parks, or I've seen that you like to read books.
So that means we have a love.
Yeah, I can't just assume that, I know everything about you. You need to still take your time to get to know the people, do those things with them, and I don't know, I think... But
it's very easy to sort of get into the other person online, because back in the day you sort of have the, where you write letters to each other, and we kind of went through a phase where letters are non-existent because you had your mobile phone. But I think now with the social online dating, you can send romantic messages to each other. You can do a whole bunch of stuff even without meeting the person. You can actually be in love without actually meeting that person. You know the times are different now, but in reality, but so that sort of those are very dangerous moves, whilst you're online and picking people. Be careful not to fall in love too quickly, because the person that you're seeing online may not be the real person. I'm just going to quickly take us into statistics. So I was reading, I think Stanford University also said, they kind of went into a little bit of numbers, and they kind of said things along the line of 28% of marriages that meet online collapse in the first year of their marriage. Now,
that's quite high.
That is very high. That's 28%. So where do we start from? Now we're gonna have the rest of the face, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting that, but that's the reality. I mean, I do know, we do have a relative who they met online, and they got married quickly. Again, not to say if they met physically, in terms of naturally, things won't fall pear-shaped, or things won't go pear-shaped. But I think it's putting the blame on the fact that we met on social media, where the marriage hasn't been great. In the first, I think since they got married within 6 months of getting to know each other. So I guess the blame now is, it's because we met online. It's because we didn't sort of give ourselves enough time. So I think it's more, you've got to know. I'm not sure how to say it.
It has to be a balance.
It's got to be a balance. So where they're saying 28% of marriages that meet online fail, should we almost attribute the reason for marriages failing to social media? Because then it could be there is that. What are your thoughts?
I think to some extent, I think social media culture is, if I follow you and I don't like what you're posting anymore, unfollow you's done.
Pretty
in
much.
Real life, if
I
don't
agree.
like what you're doing, we talk about it. So I feel like if you bring that whole online culture into your everyday life, it's very easy for you to just be like, you know what, you did something that annoyed me and I'm out. And I feel like
you don't get the opportunity to get to know someone.
You
could meet them on a bad day online where they're having a really, things are not going well. So maybe you say, okay, you know what, that was a rude message. That's it, I don't want to know about you. You've missed an opportunity there to get to know maybe a potentially good person.
That's just, while she's talking about that, it just sort of reminds me about the flexibility you've got online. You're just online doing profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, profile 2. Eyebrows a little bit tacky. Nah, I don't want her. You're gonna sit in the comfort of your house and make those sort of judgment calls. So there is, we're not saying that it's a negative thing. We're just saying, whilst you're at it, just make sure you've got your best A game on. If you're a girl, you sort of make sure that the guy that's chatting you up is not following all the girls in London. There are some guys that all they do online is pretty much sit down there and just, they're trolls, online trolls. They follow all the beautiful girls, what they think is beautiful, anything is correct, they pretty much follow. So I think when you get those contacts, you kind of, and it's a sanity check as well, just to make sure, I'm talking to the right person. See how many people they're following, the sort of people they're following, and that sort of gives you a little bit of feel about who they are, and then you can kind of make a judgment call as to, okay, maybe we can take this a little bit further, because I think that's what I tend to do anyway, and I find that quite helpful. But I think, you know, the two things we've talked about, finding your passion and online dating, I think these are topics that a lot of people often ask about. They want to know, how do you identify your passion? So hopefully you guys have been able to learn one or two things from Nana, Agyei, and Ahanna Anaba. I've got to be very careful when I'm mentioning people's names, just to make sure I get it really, really right. So just before we end today's episode, there's something that I like doing, and it's just getting to know, I guess, a little bit better, and that's understanding what your pet peeves are. So I'm just going to start with you. Nana, what are your pet peeves? Things you cannot stand. You just don't.
Discrimination.
Right, okay.
I feel we're all special in one way or the other, and everyone should be treated the same, irrespective of your race, your background. We all deserve to be treated equally.
How does that make you feel when you find yourself in that situation where someone's just discriminating, whether or not based on colour or demographic?
It makes me feel upset and disappointed, because you feel like, hey, it shouldn't be like this. This is how it should be. So,
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. How about you, Ahanna?
Mine is when people cancel last minute.
Right, okay.
I think it's one of the most disrespectful things you could do. I think if you respected the other person's time, I mean, I understand that, like, life happens, some things can happen, but I feel like a lot of people just wait to cancel last minute because they know there's not much you can say at the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like most of the time when people cancel last minute, it literally drives me up the wall.
Yeah, and I think I'm sorry, I think that's a cultural thing. I think, you know, within the Caucasian community they tend to do that, but as Africans and we need to change. We need to change this pattern. Hopefully someone's listening to Ahanna and saying, oh, I just cancelled on somebody yesterday, I need to learn something. Well, if you haven't picked anything at all about Ahanna, just make sure when you're doing business with her, you never cancel last minute. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. Really appreciate it. I've had so much fun. At least, you know, now I know a little bit about you, and even though we've known each other for quite some time, but at least today I sort of know, I feel like I know you a little bit more. And Ahanna as well, yeah. Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Right, guys, that's it for now. I hope you guys have been able to learn one or two things from today's episode. We've talked about finding your passion as well as online dating. Whether or not online dating is good for you, it's good for me. Let us know what you think. Do you like online dating? Do you believe in it? Let us know why. Send us an email to info@joemaxwellshow.com. Go on our website, leave us comments on our Facebook, our Instagram pages. Let us know what you think. That's it for now. Until next time, I'm your host, Jo Maxwell.